Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. Here at The Cheap Audio Man, we help everyone find high-value hi-fi, home theater, and headphone equipment. And today... That's right. This may trigger some people. It's okay. You don't have to go in the comments and say, you're not The Cheap Audio Man anymore. So today we're talking about the Buchardt. It's either an I or an L. IL or 150. We're just going to call it the 150. It's an integrated amplifier. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the Buchardt I or L 150. It's got a bunch of secrets inside it. Hey, honey, do you remember when we were in Mexico and we were watching Netflix and it was super cool because we got a whole bunch of different movies and stuff that we don't get when we're not on vacation in Mexico? Did someone say Netflix? Who are you? I'm the Atlas VPN guy. Why are you in my house? Because you said Netflix. But people say Netflix all the time. How can you possibly go to everybody's house when they say Netflix? Because of technology. What? How did you get in my house? Through an open window on the second floor, but that's not important. That kind of feels important. Do you want better Netflix? Yeah. I mean, I'm still a little unsettled that you broke into my house, but I do want better Netflix. Atlas VPN is a great way to safeguard your browsing experience on the World Wide Web of information for entertainment and information. Do you use the term World Wide Web? I do. Sounds dumb. You're dumb. You broke into my house. Fair enough. Atlas VPN also checks for data breaches if your email has been compromised so that you don't get affected by malware. Have you ever been affected by malware? Well, I did get an email that said I want a goat farm, and I clicked on the link. You thought you want a goat farm? Not really, but I just thought, how cool would it be to have a goat farm? Red flags all over the email, but you know, free goat farm. Goat farms are cool. Listen, this all sounds really cool, but isn't it way cheaper to just buy a new computer or go to a foreign country so that you can watch your favorite streaming services? Actually, it's not. It's $1.99 a month. Seriously, and it protects unlimited devices from a single account. That can't be right. It's right. Are you sure? I may need to check on that. Maybe there's some fine print involved. How long have you been around? The company started in 2019, and we actually have 6 million users. That is a lot of people. Companies always say for a limited time, and it never seems limited. Are you going to die someday? Probably, unless I can figure out how to upload my consciousness as some type of matrix reality. So your time is limited. Good point. Atlas also offers discounts on hotels and airfare, as well as subscription services like Spotify and Netflix. Seriously? You bet. Fine. If I sign up, will you leave my house? I will leave your home. How do I sign up? Just go to get.atlasvpn.com/cheapaudioman. Your website is get.atlasvpn.com/cheapaudioman? Yes. Don't you think you could have come up with something better or shorter? That's all that was available. You mean to tell me that you have technology that allows you to hear when people say Netflix and then travel to their homes, and you don't have the technology to make a shorter website? Nope. Okay. So the Buchardt L or I150 Integrated Amplifier is 2,500 euros. Hey Siri, what is 2,500 euros in US dollars?
2,500 euros is $2,680.68.
All right, so 2,680. How much is 2,500 euros in Canadian dollars?
2,500 euros is 3,424 Canadian dollars and 45 cents.
Yowza. Poor Canadians. The Buchardt 150 can pump out 150 watts into 8 ohm loads and 300 watts into 4 ohm loads. It uses some Hypex modules. Has an analog volume control, a split power supply, which means the amplifier section is being powered by, well, a Hypex power module. And then the preamp and the DAC are being powered by a linear power supply. New school and old school. And that is going to be a theme of this review. Mashup. In the middle, we're meeting old established technology with new stuff. Is everybody going to like it? Probably not. Maybe the new kids, the young kids are. Gen Z, millennials, Gen X. Baby boomers? I don't know. If you're a baby boomer, drop it in the comments whether or not you like technology. In their description themselves, they use the term the mighty, which I kind of like. Good for you, Buchardt. The mighty ES9028 Pro, which is a DAC chip that is not inexpensive. So that DAC chip is used in a lot of higher end DACs. Same DAC chip used in this one. By the way, you can buy the DAC. The DAC chip alone costs $72. Just the DAC chip. You got to do a bunch of other stuff too. So just the DAC chip costs $72. Same DAC chip that's used in the, what I really like this DAC, SMSL SU9N. So think of it this way. You're already getting a $400 DAC, and I'm sure there's other DACs that are more expensive. $400 DAC inside the Buchardt, because we're going to have to talk about value with this product. People are going to look at it and say $2,600 or $2,700. That's too much. You're not the cheap audio man anymore. Am I not? Because we're going to talk about value. Value proposition. DSP. So Buchardt has their own room correction going on in here. Not only does it have its own room correction, you can use your iPhone and the iPhone microphone to do the room correction. So now sticking a microphone in there and going all over the place and stuff, easy and user-friendly, and I like that. Kudos, Buchardt. So you're eliminating the need to buy room treatments. I'm not saying you have to eliminate, you're eliminating all the need. I'm not saying it's gonna be like perfect room correction, perfect room treatment, but does it make a difference? Yes, which means you can save money on room correction by buying this amplifier, which means value. If you save $500 on room correction treatment stuff, then that amplifier just became $500 less. You got to think about it that way. Not only does it have the room correction, it also has a whole bunch of EQ stuff. You can do a regular parametric EQ. You can do shelf EQs. You can change the Q, which means how wide. For instance, if you were reducing 3K or 2K, which I like to do, you can control the width of the hump. So you can make it really small and really only affect 2K and maybe the surrounding areas. Or you can make it large, smoother. So kind of a, like a wave. EQ, not only EQ, but bass management as well. Low pass filters, whole bunch of cool stuff. And they say it's lossless. I don't know what that means, but it's lossless. I would tend to believe them. Bluetooth, aptX HD, which is a very decent codec. And then it says they also have ACC. I think what they're trying to say is AAC. So Buchardt, if you're watching, you may want to change the website to AAC, because that is the Apple Bluetooth codec. Unless there's some new Bluetooth codec I don't know about. I would imagine though that this is optimized for Apple users and Android users. aptX HD is good, pretty good. I mean, it's not lossless. There's really no lossless Bluetooth, but it's decent Bluetooth. On the front, okay, I'll also show pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 LEDs that indicate how loud it is. Very tiny little power button right here. Boop. Here are all the... Shows a lot of dust. Very cool volume knob right here. Okay, look at the size of this volume knob, okay? And then we go, I don't know if you can see that. And then over here we have our input, okay? So boop, we got Bluetooth. Line in, we're gonna talk about that here in a second. Optical, coax, USB. Clean. On the sides are a bunch of ventilation holes. Looks very good. Not only that, the enclosure is very thick metal. We're gonna call it adamantium. This amplifier is made out of adamantium. Looks like about a 1/4 inch. Hangs over the sides a little bit, folded right here, bent, and then hangs over the back end. Bunch of really cool feet on the bottom. Whoa. On the back, there are 2 subwoofer outs, a set of preamp outs, 1 analog input. Now this may be a deal breaker for some, because there are plenty of digital inputs on this amplifier. However, with only 1 RCA or only 1 analog input, If somebody already likes their CD player's internal DAC and they have a turntable, they may not like this. There's not going to be enough analog inputs. But if that CD player has an optical out, then you can use that. But if you don't like the internal DAC on this, anyway, you get my drift. You get one RCA input. That's it. So if that works for you, awesome. If it doesn't, it's probably not the amplifier for you. But if you're mostly digital music, I think this thing's got you covered. All right, next to the RCA input, you have one coaxial input, two optical SPDIF, whatever you want to call it. I like that. I like SPDIF connections. And then a full-size USB. Above that is the Bluetooth module. And then you have some very nice binding posts. IEC connector, master power switch. And that's it. So how's this thing sound? Well, out of the box, without any adjustment on EQ, no room correction, I have had some amplifiers in here that have had Hypex modules, and I haven't been blown away. I know people like Hypex modules. I know people like Ice Power modules. I don't. I think they seem dry, not as dynamic, not as fun. The immediate thing that I heard out of this is I still heard a bit of that dryness, but this sounded more, to me, to my ear, like a AB amplifier. More dynamic. I wouldn't say warmer. Well, warmer. Warmer than the NADC 338. And probably a lot of other amplifiers in that range. So it did sound warmer than that. Still sounded a bit dry compared to, well, a Macintosh amplifier. Or my Emotiva XPA Gen 3. Conversely, though, it had more detail than the XPA Gen 3. So I compared this directly to the Emotiva XPA Gen 3 2-channel power amplifier, which is a monster. I think it's 300 into 8 and then something like 500 into 4. Class AB switching power supply. I had the Akatika preamp feeding that and the Denafrebs Aries acting as the DAC. That whole system all in is 1,200 plus 800, so that's $2,000 plus about another 500, 400 for the preamp. So one is coming in around $2,300, but no DSP. So I was just going straight level sound, one versus the other. The Emotiva with the Denafrebs, a lot more dynamic, larger soundstage, sounded better to my ear. But hold that thought. Once you start to engage a bunch of the DSP settings on the Buchardt I150, things start to change. I did a review on the Pioneer VX305, which has DRAC in it. That receiver completely changed my paradigm about room correction and DSP. When I ran the room correction through my phone, it actually sucked out a little bit of bass. But what I did then is I went into the app and I brought back some bass that I wanted. A little bit of oomph, 70 hertz. Punch ya. The speakers I ran on this were the ELAC Unify 2.0. Why? Because it's the most neutral speaker I have, and it is the speaker that I have the most time with. I know that speaker really, really well. Power handling is effortless. I think this is going to drive just about anything out there. It had no issue getting the 2.0s up and running. While they are easier to drive than the first gen Unify, they still want some juice, some fire. They still want some coal in the boiler, some heat on the pan, some gas in the stove, some nitrous in the tank. I think you understand. I don't know if this is Buchardt's first amplifier. I think it is. And if it is, home run. Out of the park. I mean, this is an incredibly well thought out amplifier. It has room correction. It's absolutely gorgeous. Has plenty of power. Bluetooth, EQ, active bass management, an app that is easy to use, a setup that is easy to use, super nice remote control too. So what's not to like? Two things: price, and then the single RCA analog input. Some people still aren't going to like the sound. It is a little bit dry. If you like the Denon PMA 600NE, if you like Cambridge AXA 25, 35, that type of sound, or if you like something like a Macintosh Autoformer amplifier, even with the use of EQ, DSP, I don't think you're going to get the Buchardt that lush, that warm, that dynamic. And really the Macintosh is the most dynamic. But for all intents and purposes, a variable loudness control within the application as well. This is a shockingly awesome integrated amplifier. It checks almost all my boxes, and some boxes that I didn't even know I needed. One RCA, it could be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Price could be a deal breaker for a lot of people. But if we start to peel this onion back, you can say that you're at least getting a $400 DAC. So if the price is $2,600, now it's $2,200. Let's say you're saving $500 in room treatment, so now you're at $1,700. Active bass management, DSP, knock another $200 or $300 off there for that. Application, you get my drift. If you start to add up all of these things, the Buchardt I150 starts to become a much better deal. Conversely, you got to pay for it all up front. If you're adding a DAC to an amp and then upgrading as you go, then you can get a very nice system over time. You're still not going to have the DSP though. You're still not going to have the room correction. I have zero issue recommending this. It's the best sounding Class D amplifier I've heard that uses Hypex modules. When I heard that it was Hypex, I'm like, ugh, because I didn't want it to sound like the NAD. And it doesn't sound like the NAD. I think it's probably because of the way that they separate out the preamp section. Anyway, I can't say enough about this amplifier. It's absolutely spectacular. RCA and price, probably the only reasons why you wouldn't want to get this thing. So, if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms and a patron-only Facebook group and Discord server, and we do giveaways. I'm actually giving away some stuff today because I want it out of my house, okay? You can buy a coffee mug. Oh, it's so cold. I have soda in here. Right now, it's 15% off of all of my merchandise, so just go click on the link in the description. The discount code is 15 CAM, C-A-M, 22. You'll get 15% off your entire purchase through the end of the month. You can use the affiliate links. However, the Buchardt is not an affiliate link, so I will not get anything if you purchase it. But don't let that dissuade you because it's a very good amplifier. You can also sign up for Tidal or Amazon Music. Links in the description. Click on the link, sign up. Even if it's just for a trial, I still get a couple of bucks. You can also use the thanks button down by the share underneath this video. If you got any value out of this, you can give me a buck or two. Buy me a cup of coffee or a soda. But you don't feel compelled to give anything. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen through maybe your new Buchardt L or I 150 and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.